Everybody remembers their first video game. Whether it was playing Pikmin or Wii Sports or Paper Mario, your first game is something that you never forget. My first game was Territory War. I was like 6. You see, when I was really young, I didn't have consoles or video games. Sure, I could go over to my friend's house and play on their GameCube, but I had always assumed that was just the nature of video games. I had to go somewhere else to play them. So imagine my shock and surprise when my cousin came to visit and walked over to my parents' barely functioning Dell desktop computer and showed me this. What my cousin introduced me to was the world of Flash games and the concept of war crimes. What was incredible about Flash games was that they made gaming accessible. Gone were the days where I had to sit in someone else's suspiciously urine-scented basement to play Kirby's Air Ride on a controller that had the thumbsticks chewed off. Now I could play games in my own urine-scented basement and rest easy knowing good and well where the smell was coming from. All you had to do was type a random word from the dictionary into Google, add games after it, and boom, you were in. After that, you just had to enable Flash and you were golden. Enable Flash or Tetroid? What is that, a threat? What is a Tetroid? The great thing about Flash game websites was that 90% of the ads were trying to redirect you to a better game, like the hand of God beckoning a sinner out of the depths of hell. But my brain rot was too severe at that age, and I didn't care about anime women or RuneScape. I only cared about skateboarding games for some reason. But then again, why would anyone care? Now there was an entire collection of games just beyond your screen, and all it cost to access them was your innocence and your computer's ability to run properly. I say it would cost you your innocence because these websites had games that no child should have had access to. On top of that, these websites almost always lacked a rating system. Looking up keywords like war could either bring you games where you sneak into a bank as a bear, or games where you learn just how malleable the human head really is. The few games that weren't war-related were usually unlicensed knockoffs, or games where you were forced to fly around as a pigeon through purgatory. Now, Catholic pigeon simulators aside, nothing brought me more joy as a child than playing a game made with stolen assets where controlling Mario felt like how sped-up moon landing footage looks. Flash games also had the uncanny ability to make all their songs sound like they were recorded through a DSi microphone, which, in my opinion, is the only way to listen to Europop. The only thing arguably worse than the unlicensed games were the licensed ones that you could find on most brands' websites. Like the god-awful Chester Cheeto one. I hated this. Who looked at the Frito-Lay's persona and thought, yeah, this guy belongs on the side of a skyscraper? So yeah, I'll admit it. Most of these Flash games were either unlicensed, unplayable hellspawn that crawled their way onto these sites, or mindless corporate cash grabs that had the same level of effort put into them as my elementary school pottery projects. I'm looking at you, Starburst Slalom. That's not to say that they were all bad, though. Every now and then, a game would be released that had actual passion behind it, and was playable, which, considering where the bar was placed, makes these masterpieces in their own right. The Fancy Pants game series had absolutely no right looking, playing, or feeling this good. This was like the David Beckham of Flash games. You also had puzzle games like Jinx and Jinx 2, which I played every Halloween for far longer than I'm willing to admit. You also had Cheese Dreams, where you played as a wheel of cheese in space. If you couldn't tell, this one was the magnum opus. Miniclip, Congregate, Armor Games, Cool Math Games, all of these sites were producing games with unique art styles and music. Sure, the mechanics never rivaled the likes of Mario Sunshine, but the creativity put into them did. Take this Lego pirate game I used to play. I would pour hours into this, partially because I couldn't do basic math. Sure, it's nothing more than another point-and-click adventure game, but its outstanding feature is the fact that the game uses photos of real Lego sets to create the illusion of stop motion. This one simple visual feature has made the game stick out to me for years, and I wish more AAA games would use this style. Its other crowning achievement is that they managed to make walking more of a puzzle than anything else in the game. Why would you program your character's movement to have momentum with speeds that range from 0 to Mach 6, and then include traps that require pixel-perfect evasion? Other games like Bloons Tower Defense, Alien Hominid, and Meat Boy were of such good quality that they were actually able to expand beyond into the realm of real games. Flash games provided me with endless hours of entertainment during a time of my life when I didn't have access to video games. They introduced me to the idea of gaming and, more importantly, inspired me with creativity. These were games created by people who wanted to make something of their own and share it with the world, inspiring others to do the same. And sadly, many of them will be leaving us at the end of this year. At the end of December, Flash will no longer be supported, meaning that these games will be rendered unplayable. And though there are projects that are trying to preserve as many of these Flash games as possible, it's impossible for them to preserve all of them. This means that some of the more obscure games that have shaped so many childhoods, like Territory War, will be lost forever. That said, the memories they created and the inspiration they provided will live on.